Hello, it's Tom McMaster. Is going to talk a little bit about the Aquatic Center operating budget as found in the handbook for the YMCA that's going to be discussed tomorrow, November 28th, during the Administration Committee meeting. All right, so we're going to talk about the budget, and we're going to ask that they correct the handbook so that it reflects the actual situation. We're going to talk about the schedule of fees, and because we're going to have an income tax levy out there, we're going to ask them to make that schedule of fees so that the aquatic center has a reduced financial impact on the city's budget. To have a reference pages out there, and I'll post the references as we off to the side once I make the video. So to the meat of things, City of Huber Heights the YMCA shows that the City of Huber Heights is planning on giving them $75,000 a year in order to run the aquatic center, and I don't see that anywhere in the budget or in the contract that they got with the city. But looking at the contract that they got from the city, it does show that the city is planning on seeding them $25,000 a year, possibly for the next 3 years. So that might be where they're getting $75,000 from. But if you look at this Exhibit B, that the city will get reimbursement for all the city advance funds like that, so it should not be counted as income to the aquatic center like that. So we're going to go back and look at the numbers again, and with that I'm going to say that the $75,000 should not be shown as income, so that you take the $361,000 and subtract 75 from it, so the adjusted income becomes $286,000. I haven't shown you the expenditure pages at all, but if you look at them, that the expenditures do not reflect the $15,000 that the city is planning to pay the YMCA. Now, of course, that's an operating expense to the city. So you take that and you add that into the identified expenditures, which I'm also not showing to you, but you can look up in the handbook, and you see that the adjusted expenditures will end up being $369,499. So the adjusted net will be a loss of $77,499 to the city. So with that, you can see that I have to pick the right fee schedule in order to minimize the impact on the city's budget that the aquatic center is going to have. And so we'll go ahead and look and see what the YMCA is planning on doing. And if you do, you'll see that the YMCA is planning on mapping their fee schedule the same as the Tip City fee schedule, and just lowering it a little bit to make it look more attractive to people in the area. We'll see how, from what the information we have, how good a plan that might be. So the first thing we're going to look at over here is the case study that was provided by Brandt, Stetter, and Carroll way back in May. So these numbers are just they're a little dated out there, but they do show that in 2010 they have an average peak hour attendance of 796. And the one thing to keep in mind here is that the Tippecanoe Aquatic Center is meant for 900 people, which is what the Huber Heights Aquatic Center is meant for. So this is a good judgment on some of the possible revenues that we can go. The other thing that we're going to look at over here is the annual revenue that they're showing is $387,000, and they get a net of about $7,500. And the big thing is the population of Tip City is only about 9,500 people. So we'll head off to the next slide, also from the same feasibility study, and you can see that they say that our city, because we have a lot more people, could actually hold a facility or support a facility that could have 1,322 people in peak and an average daily attendance of 1,088. But then they go ahead and they recommend that we only build it for 900 people, which is the same size as Tip City was built. Okay, so the next thing we look at is what they thought the operating costs might be, and of course they give you this that should be updated. And the other thing over here is that $350,000 is less than the operating cost for the Tip City one. That was $387,000, and the revenue $415,000 is more. So I was wondering, and it's quite a bit more than what the Y has put in their budget, where they thought minus 75, it turned out to be $280,000 ish. So I did this calculation here in yellow and saw that if you take the $415,000 income per person, that gives you 85,000, almost $86,000 people over the 80-day opening period. It's 1,074 people per day. Well, you can see from this previous slide here that if we built a peak facility capable handling 1322 peak hour attendance, then the average daily attendance could be 1088. So this 1074 and this 415 seems to be based on a bigger facility. And then just for kicks and grins, we looked at what Tip City actually put out, and you can see that their numbers are pretty close to what Branson and Carroll put out. The revenue was the same. The expenditures were a little different, which made a $3,000 difference in total in net. But that's not too bad, so it looks like they were pretty good on that. So we're going to go ahead and look real quick at the YMCA has to say here. And if they have these guest passes, then you'll have 125 people a day that want to use it as adult passes, 140 in the youth passes, for an average of 265 people a day that want to use the facility using the guest passes. If you look at the memberships over here, you can get 1,171 people with the membership and the family membership, 170 for adult and 75 for youth. That gives you total people with memberships at 1,445. If they each want to use it on average 2.5 times a week, that means you need 505 of these people will want to use it every day. Add that to the 265 and you're pretty close to the 900 people on a daily basis that want to use it. So with that, we'll come to the conclusion. We see the Tip City model for fee schedule, but with the lower fees, probably will not optimize the revenue for the city. In fact, because of the relative size and the expected peak hour demand, this suggests we should have a higher fee schedule than what Tip City says if we're going to optimize how much we can make for the city. And then it also suggests that we should have less emphasis on annual memberships and look for more daily passes, okay, because the city will make more money that way. And the other thing is, because you have such a demand, you might want to try to feed people away from the weekends. So you might have a work week membership and a work week pass model that's cheaper than the full membership. Alright, and the last thing I wanted to say was, if you also look in the handbook, it looks like the application center is an application for the Y membership, so they should talk to us a little bit about that and see if that Y membership is needed in order to join the facility.